My road to becoming a head and neck surgeon really began with my grandfather, who was a small-town village physician. He would take me to see patients, and when I was about 5 or 6 years old, we saw a young woman who had a very large growth on her face. And I remember asking my grandfather, "What is that?" And he said, "That is cancer." Of course, at that age, I had no idea what cancer was. What I did know is that I wanted to dedicate my life to helping patients with head and neck cancer. My name is Maie St, and I am the professor and director of otolaryngology, head and neck surgery here at Johns Hopkins. I'm a head and neck cancer surgeon, and I see patients who have cancer or growths, could be benign growths also, of the head and neck area, including cancers of the lips, the mouth, the tongue, the throat, the tonsils, the voice box, the thyroid gland, the salivary glands, and skin cancers. Much of the research that we do has really been brought forward by our patients. I had the privilege of caring for a young woman about 8 years ago. She had a tongue cancer, and she and her husband had sought opinions all around the globe. When they came to my office, her husband asked me 2 very important questions. He said, "Dr. St. John, number 1, how much of my wife's tongue are you going to take? Because we do have young children at home." The second question he asked me was, "When you come out of surgery and tell me that everything went well, how will you in fact know that you have removed all of the cancer from my wife's body?" I thought about those questions for the next few weeks, and as I was driving in to do her surgery, I realized that my car would beep when I was getting close to something of a different density. And I thought, as a cancer surgeon in the operating room, I am not only looking at the tumor, but I'm also palpating to ensure that I can feel the tumor. And this led to a very amazing collaboration with biomedical engineers across the globe, other surgeons and other patients, where we have built a device that allows us to see cancer cells in the operating room to then be able to afford patients what we call precision surgery, removing all of the tissues that need to be removed and preserving all of the tissues that allow them to maintain a quality of life. I've had the privilege of being a mentor in head and neck cancer surgery. And one of the things that I think is really important is it is a partnership with our patients. Patients bring to me an absolute perspective, an absolute joy, an absolute understanding, and allow us to have an empathy as we create a consensus of the care they need together. As I teach my trainees, I often tell them, if you take care of cancer, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, but if you take care of the patient, you always win. Care of the patient may involve surgery, may not involve surgery. But what we are after, what we want to do, is to understand the patient's priorities, to explain what the opportunities are, and to work together to ensure that we preserve and prioritize everything for that patient. Any patient that I have had the privilege of operating on becomes a member of my family. I know them, I know their names, I know their families, because they become a part of me. One of the things during cancer surgery is patients will come and we don't always know if we can remove the tumor in its entirety. But one of the moments I really treasure is when the tumor does come out in its entirety. I usually bend down and whisper in the patient's ear, although they're under anesthesia, the tumor's out, because it's really important to me and I want them to know. And so when my patients are asked, "Do you remember the moment that Dr. St. John mentioned to you that the tumor was completely removed?" They always say, "I know that she told me under anesthesia." Sometimes when you are handed a gift, you take a look and it may not have been what you wanted. Sometimes you're handed a gift and it's exactly what you wanted. Very few times in life I've been handed a gift where it has exceeded my every expectation. And that's what is true here at Hopkins. It is my privilege to be here, to care for patients with this community, and to be dedicated not just to being in the practice of medicine, but shaping the future of medicine for our patients.